So far in the stream, we've gone from CT1 all the way to CT14. We just need gold on a map to get our CT15 with this budget AP build. We're going mid-tree pyro. It's super safe, super low cooldowns, and you really don't need to invest that much into it. No tier 3s, no legendaries, anything like that. We're using Feed the Flames, Phaser Beam, and Heat Wave. Everything's going to be really low cooldown. Feed the Flames is essentially only being used to proc this hot situation, which gives you 45% anomaly power for 10 seconds, and the cooldown on Feed the Flames, depending on if you've invested in cooldown or not. Mine's 10.2 right now, but if I maxed out all my cooldown, you could get it down to like 8 seconds. And that's really helpful. And then Phaser Beam and Heat Wave are just going to be really low cooldown and do a lot of damage. For weapon mods, really, obviously this is just tier 2 and tier 3s to prove the point that you can climb with anomaly power and no tier 3 mods. So we're using Claymore and Death Chains. You can use Shadow Comet or whatever if you want to, because there's obviously better tier 3 mods that do damage, but you don't really care about weapon damage. You don't care about anything like that. You just want something that has a decent clip size and has a mod on it that just does damage on a shot. That way you can rotate between the two weapons. For actual armor mods, in order to actually make this build work, like the mandatory mods, you really only need Tidal Wave, which gives you another Heat Wave. Twice as Hot, I would consider to be mandatory because it accounts for so much damage. Untamed Power is really, really useful and really good. And it counts for a lot of anomaly damage as well. And then Ride the Wave and Burnt Out. So we have 3 Heat Waves, and every time we hit something with a Heat Wave, they're going to take 25% increased damage. I believe it only goes up to 50%, so you hit them with 2 Heat Waves, and they're going to be taking that maximum amount. You're just going to be mowing stuff down. For defensive mods, you can run whatever you want. You can run Perseverance Shield, you can run Mitigation from Death, although I wouldn't recommend it with an anomaly build. You can run whatever you feel like. I'm using Emergency Stance because the entire point of this series is to make it easy for people to climb on a budget build. So if you're struggling, there's zero reason not to use Emergency Stance. Don't at me in the comments. I don't give a shit. Like, right now, Emergency Stance gives you a 65% damage reduction when you hit 30% health. And some people think it's bugged and lasts forever once it's activated. So if it's bugged, then great. If it's not, it's still a really good mod. So 100% use it. With budget builds, it's all about trying to maximize the amount of damage you can output while lessening the amount of defensive mods you need. So Emergency Stance, if you're struggling, 100% use it. I don't give a crap if it's bugged or not. You guys can shove it if you have a problem with it. Bullet Kindling is obviously also very useful. It's not like mandatory, but if you can have it, it's nice because we're doing a lot of burn damage. Damage Absorber is just another level of tankiness. Seismic Impulse is not really useful in this particular build, but I mean, we're balling on a budget and I wasn't going to spend like forever farming a different thing. So we got Seismic Impulse, and Size Matters. Just makes it so the Phaser Blast hits a little bit of a wider area. You don't really need it, but that's just what we have for our particular build. And so, yeah, the general playstyle is we're going to use Feed the Flames to proc that 45% anomaly increase and then hit everything with Heat Wave and Phaser Beam. And yeah, I mean, the major skill nodes, you're going to go and basically it's mandatory. You have to get all these max health things. So you're going to be pretty tanky. You're going to have a decent amount of skill leech. Whenever you use Heat Wave and Phaser Blast, you're going to have a 45% resistance pierce increase. We also get a ton of armor from activating Phase Blast and Heat Wave. So overall, it just synergizes really well. It's a really safe build. And that's what we've climbed with so far. And so now we did mostly Chemplant the whole way, but Chemplant for your CT14 to CT15, because you need gold, the timer is a little bit tight. So, you know, silver all the way up, Chemplant's really easy, really safe. But for gold, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend Arc Waves of Enoch because the timer's a little bit easier, just a little bit. And little bit more forgiving, even though there's a lot more bosses. And so the bosses kind of suck with this build, TBH. But we're going to give it a shot, and we'll see how we do. But that is the basic gist of the build. Oh, and for stats, obviously we're looking for anomaly power, cooldown reduction. If you can get status power, that's great, or skill leech, that's also good. But anomaly power, cooldown reduction is where it's at.
Some kind of switch over there.
The only irritating thing about this part would probably be, I mean, the amount of bosses that we have to deal with. And this first part can take up a decent amount of time just because everything is so spread out. But I can't overstate the importance of using twice as hot. It is really, really, really good. We use our abilities, we cycle through. Pop phase. Use our heat waves. Pretty much everything. And I mean, we are in CT14 now, so it's going to get a little dicey. If you get the Akari set, the Akari set's very useful. But we're leveling up based off the fact that you don't have the Akari set. But it goes great with this build as well. I'm going to try and get all these guys lined up just for the sake of speed. Because the bosses are really going to slow us down with this build. But if you have Captain Hunter or something, Captain Hunter is really nice. Hopefully we can just get this on our first go, but you never know. The dragonflies at the end are obviously very annoying as well.
Nice view.
I'm recording everything, bro. I mean, I recorded the first part just for build's sake.
An obelisk mechanism in the middle. Could be the way forward.
But yeah, hopefully we get it on this first try. But Black Fang, I mean, this is the... Usually this is the run that well, at least with the Melee Devastator build, this is the run that I share just because, you know, just to show that it's possible. So, I mean, if we don't get it on this run, then we just try again. But it's no big deal. We've golded everything up until this point. So I'm just trying to, like, at least narrate in a way that if someone else is trying to emulate this, they understand, like, what I'm doing. We're proccing twice as hot and unstable power whenever we melee. So that's why I'm meleeing a lot. It's not the safest thing to do, but I'm going off the assumption that we're probably going to need all the time we can get, and so I'm playing a little bit risky. So basically what twice as hot does is if you ignite something, if something is on fire, anytime you use a skill that includes a melee, you're going to deal like tens of thousands of damage to it. And it really, I mean, it applies to everything that we do with this build. And everything you do with a lot of Pyromancer builds, so it's like so good to have it in general. Hey, thanks for the sub, Anto. Appreciate it, man. But we're also proccing the, what's the word I'm looking for? We're proccing Untamed Power with melees too, because that's also based off of skills. Hey, thank you guys for the subs. Appreciate it, man. Gotta scroll up to actually see everybody. Casey Richards, Luis, appreciate it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions at all. We're just on our last part here. Hopefully we can get in the first go, but you never know. Just trial and error. Let's back up a little bit just so we can get fire on everything. Ideally, we want to hit as many people as humanly possible with our stuff. When our stuff is on cooldown or we don't feel safe enough to use Phase Blast, we're going and popping our weapons. We should be good though. And that should kill him. Cool. One take YouTube video, huh? Yeah, one take, bro. I mean, if we don't do it in one shot, then it's no big deal. We can just use the beginning of the video as the explanation. That's really the only thing that changes. But I mean, it's definitely going to be tight. I mean, it's not like I bumped up my cooldown reduction or anything, or like literally we've been running the exact same weapons, armor, everything for this entire climb. And we did it pretty fast too. I'm happy that we got it done in one day. I'm saying that assuming we're going to get it done in this run, but we've got time. The question is, that last room, man, those bosses and the stupid dragonflies, that's what's going to take up, that takes up some time, but we got basically 8 minutes for this last room, so we'll see. Bang on time, got a couple minutes to spare. We'll see, hopefully. The bosses just really, they take extra time with this. If you have Captain Hunter tier 3, that really helps increase your clear speeds. Shadow Comet, basically all that stuff. I'm just gonna pop that now. And basically the idea with this room in particular is, oh, if I can actually get out of this, okay. Safest way to do it is to just slowly kite around the outside of the room. That way any dragonflies that spawn, you don't gotta deal with them. Do want to get away from these guys though. If we can kill the dragonflies beforehand, that would be, ooh. They're almost more important than the bosses because of how annoying they are. Landed on that guy. He should be dead. We just kite around the room. Cannot be overstated enough how obnoxious dragonflies are. So any chance we got to take them out, I want to do that. I think Broodmother should spawn right here. If we can take one of those out before they get together, that would be preferable. Didn't have a heat wave lined up, unfortunately. Yeah, we got plenty of time here. Plenty of time. Need to get out of the friggin' way so I can line everything up. Drop a heat wave. Our skill leech is really putting in work. You can use a melee attack if you don't want to get knocked back by the boss at all. Or a phase blast. Next wave of dragonflies should spawn soon. Obnoxiously so. Yep. And we got plenty of time. And that is our CT-15 with mid-tree, full AP pyro. No tier 3s, no legendaries, none of that jazz. Piece of cake, guys. Boom. That's how you do it.
Outrider, there's a storm coming your way.
There's a well here. Spewing anomaly energy. It's
Anybody is struggling to climb, anybody's doing any of that, you can go Chemplate the whole way, you can go Arcways the whole way, whatever you feel like. CT-14 to 15, Arcways has a super forgiving timer, there's zero reason not to do it. So, that's what I would suggest you do. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. And now we're challenged tier 15. Toss on any tier 3s you want, toss on Captain Hunter, toss on whatever. Grind up that Akari set. If we look at how much work the mods are putting in, right? Twice as hot damage, 20 million. Claymore, Untamed Power. This is why mods are so important. It's for stuff like this. When you're climbing, it makes up for when you don't have the cooldown reduction, or when you don't have all the anomaly power, or the tier 3s, or anything like that. Like, you use those mods. Twice as hot. I cannot overstate enough how good Twice as Hot is on Pyromancer. So good. And now that you're at that level, you know, now we're at tier 15. You can go do Eye of the Storm. You can do whatever you want. You level it up to... level all your gear up to level 50. Go and farm some Akari pieces. You can you can slot some Akari stuff on, and this build absolutely rips with Akari. Or you can go and do the overheat build. That's also in my channel. So that's gonna be it for the climb, guys. I'll try and put like an image of the skills in the description. But that is the only tier 2, only tier 1 Pyromancer climb with just anomaly power. That's it. That's all there is to it. So, if you have any questions, feel free. Hey, no problem, Mike. Dude, this is what we're doing it for, right? We did Melee Devastator. That went really well. We're doing it so that people who are struggling, who are stuck, you know, I see posts every single day, people are stuck, and like, everybody can climb. You do not need legendaries, you do not need tier 3s. If you have them, and you want to toss them onto this build, makes it better, not gonna lie. But like, you know, we're putting limiters on ourselves using just tier 2 mods so that people who don't have them can learn. And that's all there is to it. If you need a defensive mod, use Emergency Stance right now. Do not listen to what anybody else tells you. Doesn't make a difference. The point of the game, get to CT-15, farm whatever legendary you want, have fun, make the builds. Use whatever you can possibly get. Take the easiest route imaginable to get there. Okay, and if you're running the anomaly way, mid-tree is really the go-to. It's super easy, super safe. Make sure that all of your gear is up to the maximum wearable level, because you're going to be getting a large amount of anomaly bonuses and max health bonuses. Some people don't realize that. But, like, really all you need for this build is Ride the Wave, Burnt Out, I would say Twice as Hot, and Tidal Wave. And that'll get you majority of the way. And if you want to increase your damage further, toss on Twice as Hot, toss on Bullet, Kindling, Untamed Power, like all of those things, they will really help you out. So if you guys need any help at all, you have any questions, I'll toss this on my channel. I don't know if I should go and make a full like breakdown of the build because I kind of did at the beginning of this, but that's really all there is to it. You can check out my other Overheat Pyromancer build. That's the legit end game stuff. That's like all tier 3s, all legendary Akari pieces, like nuke entire rooms, clear Chemtown in 3 to 4 minutes. Like that's your goal. But if you really like this playstyle and how safe it is, you can run this, get your 3-piece Akari for helmet, chest, and legs, and you are off to the races, my friends. So yeah, any questions, feel free to toss them in the comments, toss them wherever. Trying to help out best way I can. Like, comment, subscribe. Really helps me out. It'd be nice to get to 15K subs on YouTube or follows on Twitch. That'd be dope too. But that's it for me. So Damocles out.